Hi, welcome back to another video. So the year hasn't really been going well for me so far in terms of reading. I am officially in a reading slump, probably because I've been reading a lot of very mediocre books for videos that you haven't seen yet because they are not completed, because every book that I pick up is not good. Which is why from the start of the year until now on my Goodreads I haven't been able to read a single book. None of the videos are completed or out yet, so yeah, that's a problem. But anyway, now the important issue is to get out of my reading slump. So I went to the library and I got 4 books in the hopes that one of these will bring me out of my reading slump. First of which is The Storied Life of A.J. Fikri. It's a really short read. This author is the author of Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I read that, thought it was okay. This book is about a bookstore, and I feel like books about books normally sit very well with me, so there's that. And then I watched Hayley Pham's video on how to get out of a reading slump, where she got out of a reading slump, and she recommended to read books from an author that you've read before, or to read something that you like, something like that. So I borrowed Emma Lott's The Getaway List, which is also on my anticipated reads of the year, and she wrote Tweet Cute, which I loved, and Begin Again, which I also loved. One was 4.75 stars, one was 5 stars, so very high chance hoping this will be the one. If not, I also borrowed To Have a Match by the same author, but this one I think has very low ratings on Goodreads. No idea why, and it's a little bit thicker. Don't know which one I'll like more, but hoping one of them will be it. If not, there's also The X Talk by Rachel Lynn Solomon. Rachel Lynn Solomon wrote Weather Girl as well as Business or Pleasure. I didn't get to borrow See You Yesterday or Today Tonight Tomorrow, so I don't know which of these books will be it, but I'm just gonna try and we'll see what I pick up. And within the 80 pages that I have read of You Have a Match, I decided to DNF this because one of the tips that I saw on TikTok, trying to get out of a reading slump, you shouldn't force yourself to read any books that you don't find enjoyable. So for this one, it's about this girl called Abby. She signed up for a DNA service mainly to give her friend and secret love interest Leo a nudge, because Leo was adopted or something like that, and he wants to find out more about his family. So to her surprise, she finds from her results that she has a full-blooded sister called Savannah, who is an influencer, things like that. And so it's more about their relationship. I found the writing to be quite cringy, really like younger side of YA. So they use acronyms like BEI for Big Embarrassing Incident, Queen Savvy, Queen something. Didn't really rub me the right way, so I'm just gonna stop, because if I continue I think it's just gonna be like a 2 or 3 star kind of read, which I don't want to keep doing. So that's all my updates for that book, and I'll update again once I decide to start another book. I need to take a break from reading. I'm just gonna watch some stuff. Oh my god, I actually want to read. I really want to read. Okay, I finished this book. I want to save my review a bit later because I just want to read now. So I'm gonna get started on The Getaway List by Emma Lott, and then I'll update you soon. Oh my god. Hi everyone, so I am back. If you see this, you know what's the time now. It is time for my skincare, and I'm going to be reviewing the X Talk while I do my skincare. So trigger warnings for death of a parent, grief, sexism, misogyny, and cancer. I already double cleansed, and then now I'm gonna go in with my toner, Torridon toner, same as always, but it's finishing. Excited to show you the next product that I got as a replacement for this toner. So for the X Talk, essentially it's about a public radio called
Public Pacific Radio or something like that. So basically what happens is that the main character is called Shay Goldstein, and she was a producer for this show called Puget Sounds. But because it's been running for 20 years, the listening rate has like decreased over the years or something, such that it's the lowest out of all the shows on the radio. So management decides to cut that and replace it with a new concept which was developed by Shay, which is where two exes come together to host a show and share about what's the reason for their breakup, and then go into different romantic relationship advice, including like how do you set up a good dating profile, things like that. Next is, this is the Centella ampoule that I asked my friend to get for me from Korea. I actually tried this at my friend's house. I was at a sleepover and I liked it so much, so I decided to buy it also. This one, so filled to the brim. Oh my goodness, what a nicely packed product. That was Shay's idea. Then their management, their boss called Kent, decides to call them over, right? Oh, okay, I forgot to mention a very important detail. So apart from Shay, there is this new character at her workplace called Dominic, and he is 24 years old, Shay is 29. She has been working at the radio for like 10 years. Then Dom recently came in after finishing his masters in journalism. They can't stand each other because to Shay, Dom keeps talking about how he has masters and that makes him very qualified to talk about public radio, even though that is like his first job. And then Shay's just like, I've been here for 10 years, stop sounding like you know everything. They can't stand each other, but Ken sees something in their chemistry. So he calls them in and he's like, you are going to be the host for the new show, and so you have to fake having had a relationship and then now going through the breakup. So their show launches and it's an immediate hit worldwide. People are like, oh my god, their chemistry is amazing, they need to get back together, things like that. And then the story progresses from there as their relationship starts to grow on each other as well. So ginseng essence water, I feel quite iffy about this product actually, because I don't know why, but it's irritating my skin. So I'm just going to put it on my neck as a means to use it, and on my arms. So I gave it 4.25 stars. I highly recommend listening to the audio because there are elements of the radio in the story. So the audiobook is also really good. Like there are certain audiobooks where I listen for like the first chapter and I can't continue because they have no flavor, but this one was so good. And it just makes the story come more alive. 4.25 because I'm in a reading slump, but I really wanted to read it and find out what happened. And it's not like just a fluffy story because both characters have their own things that they're dealing with. And there's also this whole talk about misogyny in public radio. So it's a very interesting story to read. Was it a bit cringy at times, especially with regards to the plot and the resolution of the third act conflict? A little bit, but it was interesting enough and I enjoyed it. So I give it 4.25 stars. Torridon Dive-In Serum, and it made me actually want to continue reading another book, as you would have seen from the previous clip, I believe. So now I'm going to, actually I already said, right, I started reading The Getaway List by Emma Lott. I actually almost DNF'd this because I wasn't vibing with how young the characters were speaking, even though this is YA. It was like those kind of cringy teenager lines of like, I needed this burger yesterday, that kind of thing. But I pushed through, so I'm like about 100 plus pages in. The reason why I'm pushing through this instead of DNFing like I did for You Have a Match, because that one was more on the sister dynamics. This one is a bit more on the best friend / lover dynamics, which I'm quite interested to find out more on. We are introduced to, oh wait, sorry, I forgot to share what this story is about. So we are following this main character named Riley. She recently graduated, so she's 18. She wants to go visit her best friend Tom, who moved up to New York, I think, because his mom is a script writer or something like that, and she's very famous after one of her works became a hit. So she kind of went to visit him against her mother's wishes because she feels that Tom is a danger. She doesn't want Riley to repeat her past mistakes wherein she got pregnant at 18. So she has been deliberately trying to keep them apart, but then Riley finds out about it like on her graduation day, so she decides to just do it and go to New York. And it was supposed to be a weekend, but now it became the whole summer because of a more heated argument between her and her mother. They used to have this thing called the Getaway List, in which they wrote down things that they would do together once they had more time. So now that they finally have this opportunity to be together, they are going through the list, and along the way they meet a few of Tom's friends in New York, and then they just continue working on the list. Definitely not going to be a 5-star read. I think it's going to be like a 3-star read, but I just want to push through because I've been DNFing way too many books this April. Hopefully it'll be a bit better towards the end, and I'll keep you updated. Okay, hi. So I'm back because I've actually finished both The Getaway List and The Storied Life of A.J. Fikri. So let's talk about The Getaway List first. I think I briefly mentioned the plot for this, and then after which I went on to finish the book. For The Getaway List, I kind of mentioned that this wasn't really like a story that was going to wow me, but I just still felt compelled to want to read it. Mostly because it wasn't like I completely hated it. It was just, I don't think I'm the right target audience for this. It feels like on the younger side of YA, and the characters, none of them really like grabbed my attention. So I decided to give it 2.5 stars in the end, because I guess it's an okay book. It's just one that wasn't for me. I felt like I read something similar in terms of like a bucket list kind of thing. Trigger warnings for this book include abandonment, cursing, mental illness, bullying, alcohol, toxic relationship, and pregnancy. One aspect of this was that there was this app where you get to choose to accept the job and then you deliver things on behalf of, so it's anonymous. But apart from that, yeah, this wasn't one of my favorites from Emma Lord. A bit sad that the two Emma Lord books that I borrowed didn't really hit with me, but 2.5 stars is a pass rating. I wouldn't exactly recommend it, but I wouldn't say like don't waste your time picking this up also. Then I went on to read The Storied Life of A.J. Fikri. So this author wrote Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, and it was like really popular last year. So this one is one of the author's backdated backlists, and it's about A.J. Fikri. He lives alone after his wife got into a car accident and died. He is a bookseller. He's just like living life as a grumpy old man until suddenly one day his prized possession, this rare collection of Poe poems, has been stolen. He was relying on that. He didn't really care that his bookstore wasn't doing well because he had that book that he could just auction whenever, and then he could just retire comfortably. But then that book got stolen, and right at that point a mysterious package appears at the bookstore. I was about to say what it was, but then it would be spoilers. Then its unexpected arrival gives Fikri the chance to make his life over and start anew, and it's like the basic concept of a grumpy bookseller starting to live life and see color again after precious things come into his life that he comes to care for and cherish. And there's also a romance in this. Trigger warnings for cancer, death, car accident, suicide, miscarriage, death of a parent, cheating, and vomit. I'm trying not to give too many spoilers, but this essentially follows his whole life from the point wherein he's a grumpy bookseller after his wife died to the rest of his life. And I felt like I would have enjoyed the book more if it was just a part about him being a grumpy bookseller and then eventually like becoming happier after a new romance or a new relationship, things like that. I wanted more depth in those parts, but because more time was also spent on after that, like he got his happy ending and what happened after that, right? I didn't really enjoy that supum a lot afterwards, and some parts of the writing were like a little bit iffy, because for example he said that he liked everything about his ex-wife, even her armpits, and then something like they smelled like milk that's just beginning to curdle after a long day, and it was stubbly or something, and I was like, okay, I don't need to know this kind of information. Yeah, I decided to land on 3.5 stars because it's a good book but not a favorite, and I can see why people would view this as their favorites, if that makes sense, but it's just not my favorite. So I decided to give it 3.5 stars, and I'm not sure whether I should end the video here because I have essentially read all the books that I borrowed for this video, and I do think that my reading slump is over because I managed to finish both books, and I'm starting to read another book now, but I'm not going to mention it because that's not for this video, and I'm enjoying that too. I'm happy that I managed to get rid of my reading slump. I don't really want to jinx it though, like it might come back. But I also wanted to take this last few minutes of the video to just share what my friends on Bookstagram have shared with me on their own tips for getting out of a reading slump. So one of them mentioned to usually reread a favorite, read a novella, or try an audiobook, or else just give into it for a while and I'll come back to it soon enough. So I think I did read the audiobook for The X Talk, and that was one of the better audiobooks out of the, I think the two Emma Lord books also had audiobooks, but the narrators weren't really doing it for me. I liked the X Talk audiobook. Then I would have tried reading a novella if the feeling persisted, but now that I feel like I'm out of it, I don't really need to. But next time, okay, I think I can't touch wood on this because reading slumps definitely do come back. So next time, I will do the her tips. And then another person said to stop thinking about reading for a while until I genuinely want to pick a book up, read graphic novels or non-fiction. One said to just keep switching books until I find one that keeps me hooked, which I did. I DNF'd You Have a Match. And then they also recommended to watch a show that's based off a book and convince myself that's close to reading. I mean, I can also read a book that has a movie adaptation to it, and then that'll motivate me to want to read it also. So yeah, those are just some tips for you if you're watching and you have a reading slump, like you're going through a reading slump now as well. So with that, I have come to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed somewhat, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel to see more of such content. I hope you're having a great day or a great week whenever or wherever you're watching, and I'll see you in a next video.